Welcome, everyone. Hi there. This is Amy.
And TJ here. And welcome back to the podcast, Amy and TJ. And we have some thank yous to you all. First and foremost, we are beyond grateful by the response we've gotten from you all from our first couple of episodes.
That's right. And we're excited because we got some news over the weekend. We're going to be releasing 2 podcasts this week and next week. Up until the end of the year, we'll see how it goes from there. But we're really excited about it. We told iHeart we like to work.
They believed us. No, we have. We're 2 people who are used to going, and long days, lots of travel. So we're not used to something like once a week. We're like, that's no problem. But we wouldn't be doing 2 a week now if there wasn't some interest, and we got the response and from you all, and it's been a good one, and we're excited to be able to share more. So yes, for the next couple of weeks, you'll get 2 from us. This is one of them, but this week's episodes are going to be special because they're centered on you.
That's right. So we're excited, but I'm going to continue my "but I'm nervous" theme. Hopefully I can get past that in the new year. But we are putting ourselves on the hot seat, literally. We asked you all to write in some questions, leave them in the comment section. And we don't look at the comments, but I did see that it was over 800. So there were a lot of questions that you all had.
And so we're going to answer as many of them as we can. But the kicker here is that we haven't seen them ahead of time. We specifically asked our producers, do not let us know the questions ahead of time. So they went through them. They picked out as many as they could. And we're going to try to get to as many as we can in the next couple of episodes, starting with this one.
Yes, so it's fun not to see the questions. It could be a little uncomfortable not to see the questions, but let's see what happens. Andy, what's our first one?
We have a whole bunch of questions. I'll dive right into it. This first one comes from Cameron, and he asks, if you're willing to share more, I'd love to hear about how you 2 fell in love after being friends for so long. What changed? When did you know your feelings were changing? And how long before you told each other? This romantic would love to know.
Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. Look, we when we knew, it was probably summer of last year, where we're like, that something else was evolving. Obviously, we were very close to entering divorce proceedings, but at that point, we knew something was different. We didn't share that because we didn't share that. Excuse me, I'm talking about publicly. We didn't share that with each other.
Yes.
Because I am sitting over here going, Lord, this has been a great best friendship. I don't need to screw this up by saying to her that there's something I'm feeling for her beyond the friendship. So we kind of tiptoed around it, and I didn't want to say anything. You didn't want to say anything. But then as we proceeded through last summer, things definitely changed, and we started having conversations, I suppose.
Yes. We've actually talked about this with each other, trying to remember the moment. I think we started looking at each other differently. Is that fair?
Wait, how'd you start looking at me? This is new to me too. Who was that romantic? What was his name?
Cameron.
Okay. Cameron. We are about to learn this together because I didn't know she was looking at me differently. So go ahead, Rose.
I think I saw you looking at me differently.
What the hell? That sounds creepy as hell.
No, it was just, we were spending so much time together at work, and then we didn't want it to end. I remember us both saying, Fridays are a bummer, because normally people are excited about Fridays, right?
Because you get to go home for the weekend,
right.
But that means we couldn't see each other again until Monday.
Right. And then Mondays were always like, for most people. And we were excited about Mondays. And
couldn't wait.
Yeah. And I think for me, that's when it started to feel different. And we didn't necessarily want to be honest, I think, with how we were feeling about each other, because it didn't feel right. And I think that's when we kind of had to start asking ourselves, without talking to each other first, about what was different. And so I think that's when it started in the summer, where I didn't want it to be Friday and I was excited about Monday.
Wow. So, all right. Well, we learned that together, Cameron. Did she really answer that, Andy?
I think so.
How you
Okay.
looked at, you said, you noticed I started looking at you. That's what it was.
I feel like there was a little extra twinkle in your eyes.
Oh, my. That is absurd. A twinkle? I keep a twinkle in my eye.
You do have a twinkle in
Thank
your
you.
eyes. Yeah.
Andy
it's-
said the
it's
same
cute.
thing.
It's
See,
cute.
look at me right now, Andy.
Yeah.
You see a twinkle, don't you?
You have some
Okay.
good twinkling
Yeah,
eyes.
but-
What is he?
Does Andy need to start questioning his friendship with you?
Okay, you were questioning your friendship with me. Okay, Cameron, this is a rough start. No, I didn't know that part. About you thought I was looking at you differently.
I felt it.
We did run together a lot.
We did run
You
together.
didn't see how I was looking at you when I was. No,
You
I'm
always
sorry.
ran behind me. He did always run behind me. All right.
All right, Andy. What else you got? Andy?
This next one comes from Charles. He asks, who made the first move? How was your first kiss? And who said I love you first?
Definitely, I said I love you first.
Yep.
That is for sure. Who made the first move? I don't think there was. But if I had to argue, if I go back, it was you.
Wow.
I would argue it was you. Yep.
I saw the twinkle.
This is absurd.
Did I lean in first?
It's not about a leaning in. It's about a move. Somebody who initiated something physical that was beyond what the friendship had been. I think that was you.
You think it was me?
I am sure it was you because look, so many people have stories of the people they've been with. We met here. We had a date here. Our first kiss was here. I don't know when the first time it was I met you because we started out as
We
friends.
can't
It was
remember the
somewhere
first
in the
time.
studio.
Yeah.
Did we have an official first date? No, I can't. We string together the number of lunches and dinners and drinks we've had for the past 9 years that nothing felt like a first anything. So
No.
when did we make it? We had an official first maybe trip as a couple, made an official first something like that. I
Yeah.
remember, but no, we just don't have that because of how our relationship was. Man, you are this.
I'm the worst.
You're the worst at this game.
I have to look back at pictures from last week to remember, like, what did we do? What was our lunch? And then I have to go back, and that's why I like to take pictures because it reminds me of what we did.
Well, go back and figure out when you made that move on me, okay? Andy, what else you got?
The next question is from Amelia. And she writes, excuse me, y'all. I'm drunk at the Mariah concert in Philly, and I have 2 questions. 1, did Robin Roberts and others abandon y'all and cut contact? And 2, one song that hypes y'all up on a run. Love y'all.
I love that she said y'all.
Oh yeah, where's she from? Where was Mariah performing?
In Philly, yeah.
She's not from Philly if she said y'all.
Drunk in yeah, I don't think so, right?
No. First question. We initially, I will say this, received nothing but support. I think we have texts to back that up. And when we first went back to work those first 2 days, my dressing room was filled with love and support. So I will say that. That's where I can say things without any question. There was immediate and initial support.
Okay, well, the next part of that. The question was, did Robin and who abandon us? Everybody?
Yeah.
What was it? Okay. You're done?
Not everyone abandoned us. And I would say that we got a lot of follow-up texts. And I don't know how people feel about being aligned with us now, and I don't want to cause anybody any trouble. We all joked about Sarah Haynes, and then it became like this headline. So I actually feel like I want to be careful about who I say continues to support us, but we have a lot of support from our former coworkers.
I think that's a damn shame. We've had these conversations behind the scenes, and I
Yeah.
think it's absolutely ridiculous that we are sitting here and we shouldn't even look at ourselves that way. Like we are
Yeah,
worried
I know.
that if somebody is affiliated with us, that it's going to hurt them. I hate
Sucks.
that we are even in that position. I don't think
Yeah.
we should, and that's something we're putting on ourselves. We could talk about this just this week. This just happened. A headline about me and Charles Barkley going out for drinks, right?
Right.
And you know this because he sent me the message the next day, and my heart sank, and my first reaction was, "Man, I'm sorry that your name is even affiliated with me. This is a mother that I have been friends with for 17, 18 years." Okay? And to feel that way is not how we should feel. And every single person we have said, "Well, we don't want to say your name." They said, "I don't give a damn. I love you. I know you. It's okay." So maybe we should start getting out of that and away from that. But I understand for folks who have been in this industry, who have worked all these years to get their reputation to a certain place, that they don't want to at all be affiliated with anything that seems untoward, that seems salacious.
Yeah.
I get that. But to the question from the folks here asking, look, we talked to I said before, there are plenty of folks we saw every single day, we ain't heard from since. And then there are plenty of people that we don't talk to that often or didn't, who have been checking on us every day. So there's plenty of support. I don't know how quiet it is, but there are plenty of people at that network where we worked and at that show who have reached out, who have checked on, who are wonderful friends to us, and that continues.
And you can look at the comments because anyone who I follow can comment on our Instagrams. So there are people who have decided to comment publicly, and I think those are the people who are okay with us talking about their support publicly.
And the other part of that was about the song, the hype song you run to. What was it?
I love Levitating, Dua Lipa. That's, I think, one of the ones that comes to my mind right away.
Mine, of course, is Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares.
Oh, yes.
Hold up, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Oh, my God. I love that song.
You played that for me the other day.
That's like the only lyric
It's
I can
good.
give that's clean enough to repeat. I think I love that song.
All right. The next question is from Lisa, and she asks, do you miss being an anchor? And if you got the opportunity, would you guys go back?
Absolutely, yes. I do miss my job as an anchor. I spent nearly 3 decades getting to that place. And so had I felt like I checked all the boxes in everything I set out to do, yes. And I was excited about more. So I 100% miss my job. And would I go back on TV? Would I go back to being an anchor? If it was the right fit, yes.
I think we're at that point now to answer her question. Lisa's question is that we are a little more discerning about what types of things we would do. There were plenty of opportunities that came our way in the past year. And we say, that wasn't the right thing. It didn't feel like the right thing. It wasn't the right time. So I miss people. I miss certain people I worked with, but I also miss certain types of stories I did. But there was a certain type of grind that I don't miss. There was a certain type of just energy zapping reality to sometimes network TV news that I don't necessarily miss, but it has everything to do with what the opportunity is, where it is, what the responsibilities would be, what the commitment would be, and who I get to work with. Because my last co-anchor, I would never go through that again. I will never have that kind of experience, Andy, that I had the last time I had a TV gig, because that shit went sideways.
You don't say. Brittany, she asks, agree or disagree with the why? The fact is that you two stood up against unbelievable odds, unprecedented scrutiny, and the judgment of the world to rewrite your stories and live your truth. What advice would you give someone afraid to reset life mid-cycle to live authentically?
I would say...
How old are they?
Well, I would say
How much
that
money do you have in the bank?
all of those things are practical. I'm going to talk about it from a personal, spiritual level.
Oh, God.
You have one shot at this life, and time is not guaranteed. And today is all you have. And so I thought about all of those things when I thoughtfully chose to be with this man. I think even when my daughters found out about this because of the tabloids, and they were shocked and thrown a punch that I think a lot of people felt when they found out about us. I remember my oldest daughter said to me, that was just such a she thought it was such a quick decision, that it was just an abrupt thing I just leapt into. And I said, no, I thought about this. I sat with this. I knew how I felt. I knew how he felt about me. I knew how I felt about him. And I really carefully considered what I wanted to do before I did it. And part of what I considered was my cancer journey, and the people who I love, who I am friends with, who are living it still. And I am so acutely aware of how rare it is to find something like this, and how we have one shot at life and one shot at love. And I wasn't living my truth. And if living your truth means making a change, it's hard, it can be messy, it's difficult oftentimes, and you will be met with a lot of people telling you otherwise. But when you feel your chest and your heart, what's right. And if you follow that and you try to do right by everybody along the way, I say go for it.
And we don't, to your that point there, I don't necessarily find what we went through extraordinary. I only find it extraordinary in the way it got covered and things like that. But there are so many folks in this country right now who have lived some type of journey that was, that one didn't work out, so I ended up here, and just life, love, marriage, relationships can be messy. And everybody actually knows that if you've lived a certain amount of life. But it just happens that ours was thrown out and we didn't have control of a certain story and think, okay, fine. But I don't want to hold us up as anything any more extraordinary necessarily than so much of what other people are going through. I do find it extraordinary that people follow through on it sometimes. We ended up in this point. I never wanted to be divorced. I never wanted little Sabine's family to not be together, but here is where we are, and I am happier and healthier and actually a better daddy to her now, to being the place that I am now. So I agree with everything that Robach just said, but yeah, life is really, really short, and you go through something like she went through with her cancer journey, and all of our families who've had issues and cancer and death we've seen around us. You just like, wow, you stop. I heard this word. We were out not too long ago and somebody used this word. The phony. Like I was a phony. And I don't want to live that. We live public lives, and you want to live truly personally and behind the scenes, but also publicly as well. So here we are. So what was her name again? The person that asked the question?
That was Brittany.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brittany, thank you.
Brittany,
for that
go
question.
for it.
Yeah.
Live your truth.
This next one comes from Abigail. She asks, what kind of stories and guests do you guys hope to have on the podcast? And do you have any dream guests for the podcast?
I think both of us are storytellers, and we love to tell other people's stories. So we cannot wait to start talking about other people. But you know what? These are always the things I want to do, and I hope we can do this in this podcast. We want to entertain, we want to inform, we want to inspire, and we want to give something to people to aspire to, maybe even to learn from. And I'm always learning, and oftentimes you learn through difficult times. So we're hoping this is a safe space for anybody who has something to share with our audience. Like, if we can bring people on, I don't care if they're famous or they're not, who, when you're listening to them, you learn something from them. And yes, we hope you're entertained along the way as well, but I really hope there's a takeaway each time we have a guest. So there's not a guest or a specific person. I think it's the story and the idea behind whatever their message is. We're looking for something that's going to give you inspiration, give you purpose, give you something to learn from, even if it's don't do what I did. That's the kind of guest, and those are the kinds of stories we're hoping to tell.
All right, I was trying to say, I agree with everything she said. I was trying to find a name who I would love to, in this format, because there's people I would have loved to interview on television that in this format, I wouldn't necessarily want them. Right? This is just a more comfortable. It's an intimate way of chatting with somebody. So a name, because I want to give Abigail something, like an actual name. But as soon as I give a name, it's going to end up being a
call out. Hey.
Yeah.
And did they get them or not?
Maybe you should do that. We should just list a whole bunch of people now and put them on the spot.
We'll just start booking people right now.
All right, what you got next, Andy?
All right, the next one comes from Susie, and she asks, are you guys spending the holidays together?
Susie, that's a good question. I think a lot of people are in this situation. Everyone would love a nuclear traditional family. And one divorce is hard enough, trying to figure that out. 2 divorces is even more complicated. So I think we're trying to do what our kids would like us to do. I think we've let them lead the way up until now, and I don't think there's a playbook or a handbook for this, and a different therapist will tell you something different, but we will spend time together.
How many therapists you got?
I've gone through a few in my life. I think
That's good.
That's embarrassing but true.
Oh, it's not.
Well, I'm always looking for help and guidance, and I know I don't know best always, but we will be together, and we're we don't have the exact plan in place. We're trying to figure it out, but we're both going to be here in New York, and our daughters are going to be here in New York, and so we will piece it together.
Yes is the answer. We will be spending the holidays together.
Mine was a little bit more complicated and probably too honest.
answer is
Go ahead. Next question, please.
All right, this next one comes from Jen. It's a great question. She asks, what do you wish everyone knew about your story that they don't know right now?
Oh, that is great. I wish folks got to had a better understanding of the past 8 years before we started dating, and understanding of the foundation that we had built. Right, and where we were. People saw chemistry on the air. People saw, and people behind the scenes saw our friendship. We were ridiculous together to the point of annoyance. Like, those two, just get me away from these two.
We were the kids in the class who had to be separated by the teacher, always.
So I just, that friendship is something I wish people had a better understanding of, because, again, we didn't have control over when people found out that we were actually in a relationship. So it was, I think that disgusted us most, is that something that we were so careful about and so deliberate and took so much great care in, was being thrown out as just something salacious and tawdry.
An affair, some sexy, affair, which it was the last thing that this was. TJ told me he loved me before he ever held my hand. I don't think I've ever had that experience before in my life, where it was an emotional connection that we acknowledged before anything physical ever happened. And that was pretty amazing. I'd like people to know that.
That was. That sucks. I mean, everybody seemed to know how great we were. Even where we worked knew how great we were, because they were the ones that kept putting us together. No,
y'all are great together.
Some magic.
You should go to London together. Y'all should go to New Orleans together. Y'all should just be on the road, and so there was something to it. It just took us a little bit longer to realize it.
Interesting. And this next question comes from Elvin. It's an interesting one. They ask, do you think you were set up because of the Epstein case?
No, I don't think that this had anything to do with that. There were a lot of conspiracy theories that surround that. And, I think we'll probably get into that in another episode, another podcast, because there was a lot to be told about that. And I understand why people are interested. I was frustrated. I think if anyone doesn't know, long story short, I was caught on a hot mic at ABC when I was in between promos, when I didn't think I was being recorded, when I didn't think I was being listened to. But that, shame on me, because I should know better. When you have a microphone on, someone's always listening and someone could always potentially be recording. And that's what happened. But yes, I had done a very significant interview which clearly pointed the finger at Epstein. I believe it was several years before he was actually found out. And so I was extremely frustrated at work that I wasn't able to get that story on the air. And so in a moment where I was frustrated, it got caught on camera. And so there were a lot of people who believe that there was some sort of backlash or some sort of agenda against me. And, I did deal with some repercussions because of that. But I don't think that what was put out about TJ and I had anything to do with my Epstein reporting or my lack thereof.
We know it didn't.
Gotcha. Next one on the topic of therapy. Susie asked, do you actually see a couples therapist?
We're looking.
Right now, we don't have, thank God, we don't need a couples therapist yet. And I say yet.
Yet.
I'm kidding. I feel like, this experience has been therapy in and of itself, but I have been in therapy for quite some time. I actually don't see one regularly now, but through this all, I think 9 months, every week I was in therapy, starting the summer before this all came to light. And, my daughters, one of them is now actually still seeing a therapist. The other one's not, but I'm always open to it. And,
you think we should?
No.
All right. Why not?
We talk a lot. We talk it out.
We talk it out.
And I think we actually have really great communication, which is pretty unique.
Great. Kevin, he asks, who was the first person that both of you told about your relationship?
Okay. I know mine.
Oh, go ahead.
Nikki. My best friend, Nikki Espina. She was the first person I told.
When did you tell her?
I told her. I told her.
Speaking of the therapist, Andy.
She guessed, and I confirmed.
When?
Right before it came out.
Babe.
Yes.
You didn't tell me this.
I know. I'm telling you now.
You gotta be f***ing kidding me right now. Rose, you told her?
I confirmed right before.
Wait a minute, you confirmed. No, that's told. It's not.
No, she asked me directly. And
Okay.
I said, yes, we're
Okay.
more than friends.
Are you aware that you didn't tell me that?
I am.
Okay.
Now,
Why
in
didn't
this
you tell
moment.
me that?
Because a lot happened. Like, it was literally days
No,
before.
no. Why didn't you tell me that? Because you knew my reaction might be how it is right now, and I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening.
Probably. Sorry.
Okay.
Maybe we need a therapist.
Oh, so this relationship is all jokes to you now, huh? It's just funny.
No. Yeah, that happened.
Wow.
Who's the first person you told?
I didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to. Because everybody knew by the time I was getting around to it. So I didn't. There was nobody I ever told.
Yeah.
Not a soul. I didn't think I should because I thought that might be a betrayal to the person I was dating, Andy.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Great question.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
All right. Katrina asks, are you guys going to tie the knot?
You want to answer this too? Have you already told somebody that we are?
No.
Should I call Nikki and see how our relationship is going?
No.
Oh, you're such.
He's still reeling from the last question.
I'm reeling. Like all I see in your face right now is Denise Richards in Undercover Brother.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Stop. Oh my God. It's under consideration.
Wait, what was the question again?
Are you guys going to tie the knot?
Oh, oh, please.
Yeah.
I'm learning so much about
So
this.
here's what I would say. We did not enter this relationship for fun or for let's see what happens. We entered this relationship because we intended on spending our lives together. So whether or not we have some sort of legal, I don't know, button on it, that's like, I don't know. We both have 2 marriages under our belts. And so it's not something we're racing to or rushing towards. But there is something. I get it. It's this thing that I can't even explain why there's this desire, but I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I can say that.
But you don't want to marry me necessarily.
That's on the table. It's on the table.
We do need a marriage counselor. Oh, excuse me. A couple counselor.
Wait,
couples
oh
therapist.
yeah,
Okay, couples
right.
therapist.
Yeah,
I'm
you jumped
sorry.
to the next
All right, my
step.
bad.
But wait, how about you?
How about
Only
what?
I answered that.
How about what? What was the question again?
Yeah, that's funny.
Have you seen the gifts under the tree? You noticed that little bitty box? Did you notice the tiny box?
Yeah, I did. I know
Okay.
what's in it though.
Sabine keeps talking about the tiny box.
Yeah.
She wants to know what's in the tiny box.
I know what's in the box.
It's a surprise in that tiny box.
Yeah, it's not from Jared.
Okay. I want to marry you. In part. Right? I'm saying that out loud.
Yeah.
I want to marry you because you are 50 and I'm 46. And I'm
You had to point that out.
very sick of introducing you a 50-year-old woman. This is my girlfriend. That just sounds stupid.
But thank you for noting the age difference.
Everybody knows.
I appreciate that.
Everybody, but you're going to be 51 soon. I'll be 46. So this means when you're in high school, I was in elementary school.
He does this a lot. He loves to point this out.
You were in college. I was
Lucky
in
you.
junior high school.
Wow. How cool if you could only have known that.
This is awesome.
Yeah, right? I'm impressed for you.
So yes, we're going to, again, friend of, we brought up Chuck already. So friend Charles Barkley, he's been saying this for years. If you get past a certain age, 30 plus, you cannot be calling somebody your girlfriend and your boyfriend. You've outgrown that.
You did note, though, lucky for us, when we actually meet people, we don't have to say, this is my boyfriend,
Yeah,
TJ.
that we're dating.
They already know.
Yeah, it's kind of out there.
We're past that. We don't really have to introduce each other.
Yeah.
So we don't really have to use that language.
Oscar asks, what is one word to sum up your 2023?
Educational.
Peace. You want to elaborate on yours? I'll elaborate on
I've
mine.
just learned more than I've ever learned about not just myself, about people who I thought I knew, about what I thought journalism was, what I thought it could feel like to be on the other side of public opinion, just things that I thought I knew I was wrong about. And I have learned so much. I am wiser and I am more prepared for what comes next.
And I think my answer, peace, actually ties into all of that. In learning all of those things as well, I have gotten to really one of the best places I've ever been in my life with friends, some people and friends and whoever it may be. Some things have gotten out of my life that serve their purpose, but it's time for those things to go. And when you start to find you get back to who you actually are, when you strip away some of these things, like, wow, I was doing this for that person, or I was being this way for that thing, or for that job, because I thought this was, you finally get to a point of peace. And so I'll keep saying, I'm happier and healthier than I've ever been in my life. And it took 2023 and a year of peace. And there was some hard stuff in there, but it's...
There were some peace outs.
Yeah, thank God, though. Really, you look at some of that stuff. But yeah, peace is mine. What else you got, Andy?
Tony asks, what's your favorite thing to cook together?
He's laughing because...
Oh, that Tony.
So
Thanks, Tony.
I used to cook, but he's so much better than me. So I like to watch him cook.
Yes.
And what is our favorite? So my favorite thing that you cook, I can say that,
Yes.
is the chimichurri sauce and the steak and the salad. It's really good.
Savine loves that too. That's a favorite. But yes, we don't cook together.
Well,
We
I'm in
really
the
don't.
room with you. I'm in
Okay.
the kitchen.
We're together while I'm cooking.
That's
How about
true.
that?
Yes.
Okay. So, but we do not cook together. And I love cooking. I love that environment. I love being in the kitchen and people around and the wine is flowing and people are chatting, but I love that. So yesterday was, I cannot believe you said this is one of the favorite things I ever made.
Oh,
for
it
you.
was so
It
good.
was just lunch. She wanted lunch and we were going to have lunch. And we had an option. You could just heat something up. We could just throw something here. But I made a shaved Brussels sprouts chicken.
Grilled chicken, hard-boiled egg.
Caesar
It was
salad.
so good. But by the way, I would help. He just won't let me. You know, when I say, hey, is there anything I can do? Do you know what he says to me? Just don't make me nervous.
And that's it. So that's our cooking experience, Tony. We don't cook together. Even we have parties that we've hosted.
Yeah.
And I have to feed 20 people. And I cook every single bite of food that is consumed that night. And
I'm so happy to take the chef hat off after, yes, I'm just, and by the way, I know when someone's better than me. So
just at certain things.
yeah,
I'm not
that's true.
better than you.
No, you're better at preparing meals than me.
Wow, you made sure you corrected that, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
All right, Haley, she asks,
Haley.
it's corny,
Uh-oh.
but I want to
It's a
know.
good setup.
I want to know if y'all have a song. After episode 2,
We do.
I'd be willing to bet it's not anything in the yacht rock genre.
Thank you, Haley.
Love having
my
you
goodness.
guys back on the air in this new awesome capacity.
Oh, thank you, Haley, for that.
We do have a song.
There's a bunch of songs. Do you want to give it out? Because we were considering. You want to give it out? Okay, fine.
Okay. Ed Sheeran.
Leave Your Life. I sent that song to her. It was probably last summer.
Yep.
At some point, I heard that song, and just if people are familiar with it, if you're not, go listen to it now. But Ed Sheeran, Leave Your Life. I'm
That's-
never gonna leave your life,
That's when I knew you loved me.
and that's what it was. We have a bunch of other songs that we crack up about.
Yeah.
But
That's our song.
that would be the one. That's it.
That's so cute.
Oh, thank you.
Jessica asks, what's your advice for someone who has a crush on or is falling for their best friend?
Whoa.
Oh, it's tough, right? Getting out of the friend zone, because we valued our friendship so much. That was the scariest thing. Do we actually do this and risk losing our best friend?
We had that conversation. It was more important that we stayed friends than it was to risk and trying a relationship. It really was.
The advice I would say, is make sure the other one feels the same way about you before you say something.
See, no. Okay. Well, who is it? Haley? That is a typical her answer. This is where we are different. Because I would give different advice. She would, and I absolutely, you would hold on to and make sure you didn't put yourself out there without knowing it's going to absolutely be reciprocated, because you couldn't stand the rejection or the humiliation. Is that fair to say?
Yes, but I also didn't want to make it weird too. Yes, correct. I fully admit that.
Okay.
Fully
fine.
admit that.
So I'm on the other side of that, in that I'm a grown ass man. Why am I handing a note like I'm in the third grade? Do you like me? Check yes or no. No, I'm a grown man. If you don't feel the same way, why am I sitting? I can't hold it to myself. Life is short. You talked about this. So Haley, you go for it. If this is what you feel, that person, you could lose them tomorrow, and they will never know how you felt about them. If they reciprocate, fine. But how are you ever going to know unless you speak? You go for it, Haley.
You were really good. I remember the conversation now, and you were just like, look, I'm feeling this way. If you don't feel the same way, that's fine. But here's what I'm feeling. And it took someone to make a bold move, and it wasn't me.
Yeah, like in the kitchen. I'm sorry. I'm kidding, Andy. I'm kidding. But that was so what would you tell Haley? No. Make sure the other person feels the same. How are you going to find out? You're almost embarrassed by the advice you just gave.
I know, but I don't know. It's
Okay.
scary. I'm just acknowledging.
Okay.
I'm validating how she's feeling, because it's scary. It's very
is.
scary, and you don't want to lose the friendship.
Okay, but you don't also want to lose the opportunity,
Yeah.
and life is freaking short.
You're right.
Go for it now. If you're not hurting yourself or hurting somebody else, then I am fully endorsing whatever it is you may want to do. That's on you. What's the worst that can happen? They say, I don't feel the same. So, but what's the best that can happen? Isn't that Michael Singer we always talk about?
Yeah.
All the time. He always tells people, yeah, right, we always sit up all day long and think about what could go wrong.
Worst case scenario.
Worst case scenario. We don't ever think about the best case scenario. Haley's going to write in next week and say, hey, jerks. So I took your advice. He
Didn't
moved.
go so well.
All right, this next question comes from Kyle. He asks, if you guys were asked to be on Dancing with the Stars, would you accept?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
No.
Next question.
All right.
Wait, do we want to talk about rhythm? No, we can do that later.
Oh, this
The whole other
take up
conversation.
the rest of the episode.
Okay, go ahead.
No way.
All right, so no Dancing with the Stars. Jenny asks, what got you through this last year? And if anything, what would you have maybe done a little bit differently?
Comes to the past year, I think each other. I don't think there's any question about that. We had each other, and it meant everything. And there was, I guess, easily we could have broken down in a whole bunch of moments, but we got better and stronger. And I think, we've said it before. I shudder to think if we didn't have each other through this all. And so I think that was.
There's no question. Some people might call it trauma bonding, but I would actually say we did lean on each other in such a beautiful way. And I actually feel like it was rare that we were both really low. If you were low, I was up. If I was low, you were up. And we really did just lift each other back up. We just happened to not be in sync when it came to those low moments, which was a good thing. And I cannot imagine going through something like this alone. And yeah, we got stronger, better, deeper.
And you said that was the last part of that question. What was it?
What would you have done differently?
Differently. Differently this past year. Again, it's the past year is one thing. I think it's just initial. It was just an initial letting our families, our kids know what was going on. I think that's the thing we go back to.
Yeah.
But again, it's still difficult to what I would have done differently. It's so easy to go back, right, in hindsight and do it. But every time, like I'm sitting here in this room with Emma and Andy in the iHeart studio with a woman I love, talking openly about wanting to marry her. That I feel great about doing that. If anything had been done differently, maybe who knows how it would have ended up. So it's hard to go back and have regret. I think that's all just being more open to the kids about it and being more open, I guess, publicly, but still, it's hard to put myself in the mindset that I need to tell the world that I'm getting a divorce. It's tough to do that. But I guess those were the things to do differently.
Yeah, and I agree with everything you're saying. Transparency would have been better for us getting through the year, but once we were in the thick of it, I don't know what else we could have done. And I'm actually proud that we didn't speak. I'm actually happy and really okay with the fact that we laid low and took our time to process what was going on and to try and help heal our families. I definitely believe that was the right thing to do. We wanted to speak. We wanted to clap back. We wanted to say that's not right, that's not true. And it was frustrating not to be able to do so, but I still stand by our decision to be quiet and to let things settle. But it was tough.